Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. One of the things that makes for you being spectacular in Jiu-Jitsu is to accept the injuries and ailments that you might have through, just through living life, right? A lot of people come to us, they're older. The average Kama Jiu-Jitsu student is probably in their 40s. It's not to say that we don't have people that are younger, because we do. But it's just that the average person demographically comes to us is typically about 40 years old plus, and they have a family, professionals. That's a typical Kama Jiu-Jitsu student. That being the case, right, if you're around 40 years old, chances are you've been through life, right? With me, for instance, let's give you an example: two knee surgeries, two shoulder surgeries, popped rib, cauliflower ears. Although mine aren't that bad because I know how to get out of headlocks, right? Um, but yet I still train. Now, what if you're brand new and you're just coming in and you're wanting to start training and you've got all these issues, right? Then you're apt to make an excuse for yourself for not training. Or once you start training, you get to a point where you hit a little hurdle and it might hurt a little bit, and you think to yourself, man, I'm not going to do this anymore because of the injuries, right? I get a lot of people commenting on the videos saying stuff like, oh, the injuries aren't worth it. I get what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense to say that. But here's the thing: anything you do in life, you're going to get an injury. I'll give you an idea. I skinned my knee a tiny bit. I mean, there's no broken skin or anything, but I could feel it when I got in the shower, because yesterday I'm grabbing lunch with my son, and we went to this restaurant. It was closed, and there's a, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's not a big curb to step up, and it's not even a step. Well, it kind of is, but it's because the sidewalk was sloping this way. But what they're doing is creating a straight space for you to step onto to get into their location. Well, they were closed, so I took a step back, and with the sidewalk sloping and the actual entrance to the store being flat, there was an area here, right, where it was only about a half an inch to an inch high, and I stepped half my shoe stepped off of it, and I fell over, right? Clumsy, right? I didn't look, right. I'm not one of those who looks down when I walk. I just walk. I look straight ahead. um, I guess that's why my wife said that when we were young, she says, "Man, you're a cocky SOB." I'm like, "No, I just walk with good posture." Right? Because as I stepped off, I lost my footing and cue the forward roll, which is what I did. My son and I had a laugh about it. But yeah, so I ate it and I rolled, and I go, okay, I'm good. I got up. But that kind of stuff, other people might have been more serious, right? They might have fallen on their knees, they might have broken their wrist trying to break their fall, they might have hit their face, I don't know. And let's say you've had wrist surgeries. And because of that, you say, oh, well, I can't do certain things with my wrists, therefore, this jujitsu isn't for me. Or maybe you were training and you got your knee tweaked, which happens once in a while here. The most common injury, as I said in another video, most common injury for us are rib injuries, just because of the type of pressure that we put onto when we're playing top, but also when escaping. If you don't align your shoulders and your hips so they move together, right? Sometimes what you do is you're flat on your back, right? Shoulder, shoulder, right? Flat on your back, and your legs are up. And what you do is meaning your hips are also aligned with that. Your legs are up. You drop your legs and you leave your shoulders flat on the ground. Well, you end up twisting your body, and that's how you injure your ribs. But for those people that get a rib injury, do they come back? Yeah, I'd probably say out of maybe 20 of them, I'd say all 20 came back from a rib injury at some point. But when I see viewers to our channel, like you, comment and say no injury is worth it, because not everybody who views our channel trains jiu-jitsu, and they say, no injury is worth it, I'm not going to do it. Well, that's fine, that's your thing. But I can tell you that being that person who trains through pain, right, but not through injuries. Injuries are different. Injuries, you need time to heal them, but we're always in pain, right? It doesn't matter where the pain is. It could be joints, it could be muscular, it could be, I don't know what else it could be, but or you just don't have enough endurance, whatever, right? Your lungs hurt when you're training hard. The key is to just keep coming in and training and just sucking it up, right? I'll give you an example. I have one instructor, he's one of my best purple belts. He's got 2 replaced knees. My best purple belt has a replaced hip. One of our premier students has it 1 or 2 replaced hips. I just picked on a private student who has 2 replaced hips. Right? I never realized that hip replacement would be that common, but apparently it is. But yet these guys train, right? I picked up a new private student today, and hopefully he'll be coming to our group classes as well. But he wanted to start off with some privates, which is cool. And he got shot in the ankle, right? Military guy, right? So that ankle bothers him. But one day in a group class a few years ago, he was in it, and I asked him, I go, "Why are you limping funny, or why are you favoring your ankle?" What did he say to me? He says, "It's nothing." He goes, "I got shot in my ankle, years ago back in Afghanistan." And he says, "I'm not telling it to you as an excuse. I'm just explaining why I was limping. But don't worry, coach. I'll power through." Okay, fine. Is it healed? Oh yeah, it's healed. It just hurts. Okay, but he's sucking it up, and he's training. And I saw him today, right? Private student. He's now a private student, and same thing. Same about the ankle, but his wrist was sore. But he didn't make any excuses. But what he did say, as what I expect everybody to say, is, this is an injury I have from so and so, or from whatever activity I was doing. So then that puts it on me to figure out a workaround. So one of the workarounds we did was he would put his wrist on the ground, like his hand on the ground like this, not flat. He'd put it like this. So I said, "Don't do that." He says, "Well, I can't do it flat because it hurts my wrist." So I said, "Okay, put a fist on the ground," I said. And this is to do a stand-up and base, right? You need to have a base. And another student of mine, the one who has the fixed knees, the replaced knees, also has a fused wrist. So he cannot do this with one of his wrists. It's just like this. So everything he has to do by putting his fist on the ground. That's a workaround. For every injury or pain or ailment you have, almost all of them, we can do a workaround for you to make it so you can train. Now, are there going to be things that you cannot do? Yes. But nobody can do everything. For instance, I'll give you an example. It's kind of funny. It's me. I can't even touch my toes. Well, I guess if I work at it long enough, meaning 5 or 10 minutes, and I really stretch, and relax, and stretch, and breathe, and all, I'll touch my toes, but I'll barely touch my toes. I envy people who can grab their toes and just pull them, right? I could never do that, and I don't think I ever will. But I've still been able to be successful in jiu-jitsu because the way I deal with that is I just simply change the angle of my hip so that I'm not in that particular position. So when Elio Gracie and Rorion Gracie and all that would say, you don't need flexibility to be good in jiu-jitsu. That is true. But that is not an excuse to not try to be flexible. It's just saying that there are workarounds, just like there are workarounds for replaced hips, replaced knees, fused wrists, popped ribs, cauliflower ear. There's a workaround for everything, right? So I'll give you another example. So my shoulders, as you know, my shoulders are jacked, right? I can't lay on my back and reach my hands up above my head and have the back of my hands touch the ground. It doesn't work, right? With my arms extended, I can't do it. So I have to figure a workaround for my training so that I can enjoy training. So one thing I don't do is I don't let people pin my wrist to the ground, at least not extended, right? And if they do pin it, it's one of two things that I'm going to do. I'm either going to just tap, or I'll do what I'm supposed to have done, and I'll move my body to my elbow so now I can be tight on it this way so it can go on the ground this way, right? That's my workaround. Now, it does limit me. If somebody wants to set up, say, an Americana on me, it won't be done. It's not as if I can even try to get out of an Americana. Once an Americana is set on me, chances are by the time my hand is pasted over here, my shoulder's ripped. So that being the case, I don't play from my back. Well, that's actually a good thing. I should be playing from my side anyway, right? You play guard from the side. You play, back. When somebody's mounted, you got to get to your side. Cross-side escape, you got to get to your side. Side mount, you're on your side anyway. There's a lot of things that you're going to do. You're going to be on your side. When you're escaping seatbelt, you don't want to be flat on your back. There's all kind of stuff that you need to do. So it just so happens my workaround to protect my shoulders is actually part of good defense, right? So another way you look at it is this: if this is a line and you're going in this direction, but you hit this line, you cross it. When you cross it, you're injured. Here's what you do: as you're starting to train to where you see your opponent taking you toward my shoulder being bent back, right? I veer off. I don't let him cross me on that line, because if I do, I'll get injured again. So if I see it approaching, I turn. On the other hand, if I cannot turn, meaning I cannot change the position or anything, then what I'll do is I'll just tap. I don't care, right? I'll just tap and I'll say, okay, let's go again. Oh, what happened, Ryan? Oh, it's your shoulder, Ryan. Shit, I'm sorry. No problem. You know what? It's up to me to protect myself. And for those of you who get injured, because you say other people injure me, what that means is you're not bothering to defend yourself. Now, defend yourself doesn't mean necessarily fight back. It means just simply protect yourself, right? When a policeman puts on a vest, a bulletproof vest, right? Kevlar vest, whatever they're using now, right? What's he doing? He's protecting himself. He's defending himself from a potential gunshot. It's the same thing. When I'm moving in a certain way and I see that he's going to be fishing for my hand, right? And he gets it out here and extended and above my head or above the line of my shoulder, then I know I'm in trouble. So I'm going to try to get my body to my elbow to protect it. But if I can't, I'll just tap. I'll say, good job, you got it. Of course, every good training partner is going to go, oh, shoot, I didn't want to go after your injured body part. Well, that's okay. I got to protect it, right? So then there comes another part to where your protection is all up to you. You cannot expect somebody to look out for you. Now, they're not going to be a dick, but if it's something we always do, you have to take the responsibility to protect yourself. But always let people know what the issue is. Right? Like those students telling me, oh, if it's when I'm just getting to know them, oh yeah, how come you can't do that? Oh, it's my hip. Oh yeah, shoot, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah. You can't raise your knee toward your chest without assistance. Well, yeah, because my hip got replaced, a year ago. Okay, I got it, right? Or why can't you sit on your knees, right? Inside of somebody's guard when you play on your knees, but sit so your butt is on your heels, or even between your feet, right? You sit between. Oh, my knees. Oh, that's right. Okay. So let's figure a workaround. And that's why everybody's jiu-jitsu is unique. We all start off in the same place, right? And arm bars and arm bars and arm bar. But setting up the arm bar, executing the arm bar might be different from person to person because of their limitations or extraordinary abilities. So when you see somebody who's particularly good and particularly talented, ask them, do you have any physical issues that you feel are, that are working against you? I almost guarantee that every one of them will say, oh yeah, this and this. And yet they still excel. Think of football players, right? NFL football players. They're top of the food chain when it comes to, being athletes, contact sports, all that kind of stuff, right? Just the sheer size and the speed and the power that they all possess, right? Imagine taking a hit from one of them. It hurts, right? And even them doing the hit, laying the hit on people, they're in pain. A lot of top athletes are in more pain than you can imagine, and yet this lets them operate at a very high level. So if you're feeling like that, think with this: instead of letting your body, they say listen to your body, and that is true. But listen to your body and know what the body's limitations are and look for workarounds so that you can do things despite your body's limitations. Otherwise, if you're just going to quit everything because of the potential for injury or because of an injury, then you'll never be fulfilled. You're just going to be doing different things. I call it bumping around. Just try this, try this, try this, try this. Never getting really good at something to the point where you completely understand it and you can completely enjoy it. You get started on it, no, that didn't work for me. Why? Well, ask yourself. If it's a good reason, if you're just not into it, then fine, go on. But if you get into something that's worth doing and you get injured because you're doing it, reconsider quitting. Let yourself heal, Go to class, watch class, listen to class. You don't necessarily have to participate to benefit. And then go back and try again, but with this injury in mind, train in a way that protects it, right? If you're missing out on, I don't know, 20% of what you can do, but you can still do stuff, why not? Don't let that limit yourself. Otherwise, you'll just think to yourself, man, I just quit everything. And you'll be a master of none and a jack of all trades, which some of you are jack of all trades, that's fine, right? But I'd rather be a master of something, right? There's, what did they say? There's a marketing term, we call it, there's riches and niches, meaning you focus on certain niches and you get really successful. You be that go-to person for that little niche. You will be healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? And just think of it from other occupations. The lawyer, the lawyer that's just a general lawyer who takes divorces and corporate law and personal injury and anything, contract law. He's a jack of all trades, but is he as good as the best guy on contracts? Is he as good as the best litigator? Is he as good as the best divorce lawyer? No. And as a result, he doesn't get very many high profile clients that are willing to pay them big bucks. Whereas the guy who only does corporate law will get all the big corporations coming to him, and he will get all the money. He's not going to do any divorces. He's not going to do any contract. No, contract is part of corporate, right? He's not going to do workers' comp law, right? So choose an activity like jujitsu, in my case, and get good at it. But if you're not going to do jujitsu, do something else, but get really good at it. And just, if it's worth doing, then do it. Right? This is, what year are we on now? 2023. So I've been doing jujitsu for 34 years now. Dave Kama's been doing it for about 37 years. It's worth it to us to do it. But because we put all that time and effort and we continue doing it, we got pretty good at it. And I'd like you to become pretty good at it too. That's all I've got for today's video. If you'd like to come and visit us, we've got 2 campuses. We've got Irvine, California, and we've got Flower Mound, Texas, which is Dallas. And come visit us at one of these locations, and we'd love to have you. If you're not in our area, feel free to visit us at KAATARO.online.com, and you can sign up for our lessons online. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.